Clint Walker truly hated him more than anyone. Clint Walker was born Norman Eugene Walker on May 30th, 1927, in Hartford, Illinois, emerged as one of the most iconic faces of American television during the golden age of Westerns. Raised during the Great Depression in a working-class family, Walker developed a strong sense of discipline and resilience at a young age, qualities that would later define his rugged screen persona. He dropped out of high school to work a variety of jobs, including as a factory worker, a riverboat crewman, and a doorman in Las Vegas, eventually joining the Merchant Marine during World War II, where he served honorably. His towering height of 6 feet 6 inches, broad-shouldered physique, deep voice, and calm demeanor naturally drew attention, paving the way for his unexpected entry into Hollywood. Walker's big break came in 1955 when he was cast as Cheyenne Bodie in the television series Cheyenne, the first hour-long Western television show and the first of its kind to become a major hit for the fledgling ABC network. The role made Clint Walker a household name and established him as one of the earliest television superstars. As Cheyenne, he portrayed a lone cowboy with a strong moral compass and an unwavering sense of justice, traits that resonated deeply with American audiences during a time of post-war optimism and shifting values. His performance helped define the archetype of the noble Western hero and influenced generations of similar characters in both TV and film. Cheyenne ran for 8 seasons, 1955 to 1963, and Walker's portrayal became emblematic of the genre's appeal, merging masculinity with decency in a way that few actors could replicate. In addition to his television success, Walker also transitioned to film, appearing in a variety of notable movies throughout the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. He co-starred in The Dirty Dozen, 1967, one of his most famous film roles, in which he played Samson Posey, a soft-spoken but lethal soldier in the World War II action classic. His filmography also includes westerns such as Yellowstone Kelly, 1959, Gold of the Seven Saints, 1961, and More Dead Than Alive, 1969, as well as appearances in TV movies and guest spots well into the 1980s. He also starred in Night of the Grizzly, 1966, a beloved Western adventure film that showcased his ability to carry a movie with charm and gravitas. Though often typecast as a cowboy or man of action, Walker longed for opportunities to display his range. He dabbled in voice acting and guest-starred in a variety of shows throughout the 70s and 80s, cementing his legacy as a versatile performer. Behind the scenes, Clint Walker was known for his humility and gratitude toward his fans. Unlike many Hollywood stars of the time, he led a relatively scandal-free personal life. Though he endured personal tragedies, including the loss of his daughter, Valerie, in a motorcycle accident, he remained a symbol of stoic endurance. He was also the survivor of a nearly fatal skiing accident in 1971, in which he was pronounced dead after a ski pole pierced his heart, only to miraculously recover and return to acting. This incident further cemented his legend, both on-screen and off, as a man of almost superhuman resilience. Walker retired from acting in the late 1990s, but never lost touch with the public. He frequently attended Western fan conventions and maintained correspondence with admirers who had followed his career for decades. His legacy continued to grow among classic TV fans and Western enthusiasts, who saw in him the embodiment of a more principled, honorable era of storytelling. Though the Western genre faded from mainstream popularity, Clint Walker's contributions kept its spirit alive. Clint Walker's personal life, though often overshadowed by his towering screen presence and rugged Western persona, was marked by a quieter journey through 3 long-term marriages, each spanning nearly 2 decades and reflecting the private, grounded side of the man behind the cowboy hat. His first marriage was to Verna Garver, whom he wed in 1948, just as his life was beginning to transform from a humble, working-class background into a career that would ultimately make him a household name. The couple shared a strong bond during the early years of Walker's rising fame, navigating the challenges of a new life in Hollywood together. Their union brought forth one child, a daughter named Valerie, born in 1950. As Clint's career soared in the 1950s with his breakout role as Cheyenne Body on the hit TV series Cheyenne, Verna and Valerie were key parts of his emotional foundation. Valerie, raised in the shadow of her father's fame, would grow up to blaze her own trail in a field historically dominated by men, aviation. She became one of the first female airline pilots in the United States, a remarkable achievement that spoke to the same trailblazing spirit her father brought to the silver screen. Despite the strong start, Clint and Verna's marriage ultimately ended in divorce in 1968 after 20 years. Though they parted ways, they continued to share in the pride of Valerie's groundbreaking accomplishments and remained connected through their shared history and daughter. Several years later, in 1974, Clint Walker found love again and married Giselle Hennessy. Their relationship was characterized by quiet devotion and mutual respect, a contrast to the fast-paced world of Hollywood. Giselle was described by those close to Clint as an elegant and kind-hearted woman who brought calm and stability into his life during the later years of his career. During their 20-year marriage, Clint had largely stepped back from the demanding pace of television and film, appearing in occasional roles but focusing more on a serene and fulfilling personal life. Their partnership endured until Giselle's passing in 1994, a loss that deeply affected Clint and marked the end of a treasured chapter in his life. Her death left a void that he carried with dignity and quiet sorrow. After a period of mourning and solitude, Clint Walker eventually found companionship again. In 1997, he married Susan Cavallari, his third and final wife. Their marriage represented a new beginning in the twilight of Clint's life, grounded in shared values, mutual care, and the comfort of seasoned companionship. Susan was by Clint's side in his final decades, offering unwavering support and sharing in the peacefulness of retirement. Unlike his earlier years filled with film sets, public appearances, and television studios, these later years were more reflective and private. Clint and Susan enjoyed a life away from the spotlight, filled with love, conversation, and the enduring strength of a relationship built not on glamour, but on friendship and loyalty. Their marriage lasted until Clint Walker's death in 2018, closing a life story not only rich in cinematic legacy, but also in personal devotion and lasting love. Clint Walker, the towering star best known for his role as the gentle yet rugged cowboy Cheyenne Body in the hit television western Cheyenne, was admired for his stoic presence, deep voice, and quiet strength. On screen, Walker often portrayed characters who sought peace and justice, but were capable of overwhelming force when the situation called for it. In real life, he was known for his calm demeanor, strong work ethic, and reluctance to engage in the typical Hollywood gossip or conflict. However, there was one man in the entertainment world who managed to provoke Walker's ire like no other: fellow actor James Garner. James Garner, the charismatic and affable leading man of Maverick, was a contemporary of Walker in the golden era of TV westerns. Both men were contracted under Warner Brothers during the late 1950s, a time when the studio was cranking out a number of successful Western series to capitalize on America's appetite for frontier stories. While Garner's Maverick was lighthearted and clever, playing off Garner's natural charm and comedic timing, Walker's Cheyenne took a more serious, brooding tone. This stylistic divergence was only the beginning of their differences, both on screen and off. Behind the scenes, the two stars developed a mutual animosity that would fester over the years. From Walker's perspective, Garner embodied everything he disliked about the Hollywood system. Garner was outspoken, sarcastic, and often rebellious toward studio authority, famously walking out on Warner Brothers and suing the studio in 1960 for breach of contract, a lawsuit he won. While some admired Garner's maverick streak, true to his character's name, Clint Walker, a man of discipline and strong personal morals, viewed it as arrogant and disrespectful. Walker was known for being intensely loyal and for maintaining a quiet dignity on set, preferring to let his work speak for itself. He prided himself on professionalism and avoiding unnecessary drama. In contrast, Garner was not shy about expressing his disdain for executives, producers, or even fellow actors, and he often shared biting critiques of people he felt were unworthy of the spotlight. According to several accounts, Garner once belittled Walker's acting abilities, dismissing him as nothing more than a big guy with muscles and no depth. For a man like Walker, who worked tirelessly to transcend his physical appearance and be recognized as a serious performer, such comments stung deeply and were never forgotten. The tension between them was further inflamed during Warner Brothers' promotional events, where the studio would often pit its stars against each other in subtle, and sometimes overt, ways to generate interest and media attention. Walker felt he was being used as a prop to contrast with Garner's sharp wit and leading man charm, and the press often fed into the rivalry, comparing the two relentlessly. This kind of competition didn't sit well with Walker, who valued unity and authenticity over vanity and showmanship. In later interviews, Clint Walker rarely spoke publicly about Garner, but when asked directly, he made it clear that theirs was not a friendly rapport. In his typically understated but firm way, Walker once said, "Some men walk their own path with decency. Others walk over people to get ahead." Though he didn't name names, many close to him believed it was a thinly veiled reference to Garner. While Walker never engaged in any public feud or outbursts, those closest to him, including co-stars, friends, and even family, have said that Garner was the one actor who could truly unsettle him. They said he carried a quiet grudge against him, not because of a single incident, but because of what he saw as a pattern of behavior that clashed with his core values. Ironically, both men remained icons of their respective Western series, and many fans appreciated them equally without realizing the deep animosity that existed behind the scenes. Despite their similar rise to fame and mutual love for the Western genre, Clint Walker and James Garner represented two very different ideals of masculinity, honor, and celebrity in mid-century America. And to Clint Walker, James Garner wasn't just a rival. He was the personification of everything he detested about the entertainment industry. In the end, though Clint Walker rarely spoke ill of others, those who knew him best have said that if there was ever a person he genuinely hated, a strong word for a man known for restraint, it was James Garner. The grudge was quiet, but it was real, and it lingered for decades. Clint Walker, the towering, broad-shouldered actor best known for his iconic role as Cheyenne Body in the long-running television Western Cheyenne, passed away on May 21, 2018, in the peaceful town of Grass Valley, California. He was just a few days shy of celebrating his 91st birthday, marking the end of a remarkable life and career that had spanned nearly a century. His death was attributed to congestive heart failure, a condition that occurs when the heart muscle doesn't pump blood as well as it should, often the result of years of wear and tear. Though he had maintained an impressively strong and vital appearance well into his later years, the quiet decline of his health in his final months was a private matter, shielded from the public eye by his close family and friends. Walker's passing was mourned not only by legions of fans who had grown up watching him dominate television screens in the 1950s and 60s, but also by a tight-knit circle of family members who remembered him not as a larger-than-life Hollywood figure, but as a devoted father, husband, and relative. He was survived by his beloved daughter, Valerie Walker, from his first marriage to Verna Garver. Valerie had made history in her own right as one of the first female airline pilots in the United States, a testament to the strength and independence that seemed to run in the Walker family. Their bond remained close over the decades, and she often spoke of her father with admiration and affection, recalling both his gentleness and his inner resilience. At the time of his death, Walker was also survived by his third wife, Susan Cavallari, whom he had married in 1997. Their marriage had lasted over 2 decades and was marked by quiet companionship, shared values, and a mutual retreat from the spotlight. Susan was known to be a source of deep comfort and stability for Walker in his later years, particularly after the deaths of loved ones and as his health began to decline. Though the couple largely kept their life together private, friends described their relationship as one of genuine warmth and deep mutual respect. In addition to his daughter and wife, Clint was survived by a half-sister and a grandson, both of whom remained close to him and cherished the time they spent together in his final years. Though he had played the stoic Western hero for much of his career, Walker was, by all accounts, a tender and loyal family man when off-screen, known for his humility, kindness, and unwavering loyalty to those he loved. His passing also brought a moment of reflection on his early family roots, particularly his connection to his twin sister, Lucille Westbrook. Born as Norman Eugene Walker, alongside Lucille on May 30th, 1927, the siblings shared a rare and powerful bond that spanned more than 7 decades. Lucille had passed away in 2000, and her death had marked a deeply emotional loss for Clint. Their twinship had been a defining part of his early life, grounding him with a sense of belonging and familial unity even as he rose to fame in Hollywood. As news of his death spread, tributes poured in from fans, co-stars, and admirers who remembered Clint Walker not only for his commanding presence on screen, but for his gentle, humble nature in real life. His death marked the end of an era, a time when Westerns dominated American television and stoic heroes like Cheyenne Boddy captured the imagination of millions. Clint Walker left behind not only a lasting legacy in film,